Hey, Jerry Fetta here with Philanthro Wealth, giving you my weekly wealth walk. I have a breakthrough I am doing right now with my finances. I want to share with you again to show you what I am doing, so stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to another weekly wealth walk. This is Jerry Fetta, CEO of Philanthro Wealth. So I do these every week again to give you an update with my wealth building progress, to show you I'm doing the things that I teach, right? I'm not someone that's out there saying, go left, I'm going right. Right. Or I'm doing something completely different. Or maybe I'm financially destitute. And I'm like, let me give all these people advice, like a lot of the fake gurus out there. So, you guys have seen a lot of my videos. I've been doing weekly wealth walk for a little while now. And, I just moved to New Mexico. I did an update on that. And I'm kind of in this position of, okay, great. We just did a bunch of change, like I went over. And now that things are settling out, I'm kind of looking at like, okay, what do I want to be doing now that I'm here? Right? Things are settled. They're being put in place. The craziness is coming down to a normal level. And so I can add a little bit more change in here pretty soon. Okay. So here's a couple of things that I've been thinking about. And one of these thoughts is kind of a major realization and breakthrough of mine that I want to share with you. Okay, I want you to think of like a time where you had that, where you're like, going through, a change or some kind of experience, and you have a major realization, a major breakthrough where you're like, wow, this changes everything. Okay. So I don't have the book with me, but I'm a big fan of the book, The Gospel of Wealth by Andrew Carnegie, right? The Gospel of Wealth by Andrew Carnegie, America's first billionaire, the father of modern day philanthropy. And one of the things he talks about is he accumulated a lot of wealth, and he got to a point in his life where he's like, I need to focus on distribution. Where do I send this wealth? Because his goal was not to die with a high net worth. His goal was not to die by, creating trust fund babies, like giving it all to his kids so that now they don't need to work. They don't need to experience life and learn and go through the struggle and all this stuff, right? So, and it's actually a bad form of leadership to do that for your children, by the way. It's kind of a side note as a parent. Trying to make life easy for them is one of the worst things you can do, right? So being like, oh, when I die, all of a sudden, they're going to be millionaires. Okay. You're not helping them by doing that. Okay. They're not going to have character. They're not going to have mental fortitude. They're not going to be able to persist. They're not going to be willing to exert effort. Like these are bad qualities to have, the unwillingness or inability to do those. So I have zero interest in like leaving a bunch of money for my kid. That's not the focus at all, right? Instead, I want to be, okay, how am I equipping him to build wealth and live a wealthy life and be generous? What condition is the world in when I leave it behind? Because he's going to live there, right? The dollars might not even be around. The businesses might not even be around. The stocks and the real estate or the whatever you're investing in, there's no guarantee any of that's still going to be here. One generation, two generations down the road, right? So the legacy I want to leave is this, right? Just like the Zia star I talked about, strong body, clear mind, right? Clean spirit, and a willingness to help others. If that's my legacy, I'm happy. It's got nothing to do with money or how much finance is left behind. Hey, what's up? Jerry here. I just wanted to give you another reminder. Grab my book, Blueprint to Financial Freedom. It's going to be one of the best books you have ever read on finance. I can promise you that. You're going to love it. It's also a free offer. So if you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can get that now. Okay, so here's been my breakthrough is I was thinking about Carnegie and I was like, wow, so he, and I really went deep on this. I was like, he became the first billionaire. And he considered that it was more serious and more difficult to distribute the wealth than it was actually to earn it or build it. Right? Which means like it was a less serious effort of building the wealth. It was a less important effort. It was less difficult to build it than it is to distribute it. Where do I send this now? Okay. And so I was thinking about like, for me with my wealth walk, there's not ever going to be a point for me where I stop working, right? Like passive income and all this stuff is great. And it makes it to where work is a option, something I get to do, not something I have to do. It's not an obligation anymore. Right. But for me, because my work and my purpose are so aligned, it's like, good. I have a car in the garage that I'd never plan on driving. Right? Like it's like I'm building wealth. Good. That's awesome. I'm never going to use the passive income really. Right? Because I don't ever plan on not working because I love what I do because my work is aligned with my purpose. So it puts me in a position where I can start looking at this and I'm like, okay, good. So all the income I'm producing and the surplus wealth, because Carnegie talks about surplus, right? So he's not saying like I grew up with my parents, with my mom, if you're poor and you give everything away, like that's not what he's talking about at all. He's saying you should be able to reasonably be taking care of your family. You should have good means. You should be an example of that in society. Like you're doing well, your family's doing well. Surplus is like the money you don't need. It's excess. I would invest this or I would spend this or I would do whatever because it's not needed for my quality of life. Right. And so I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, okay, I think that that's the route I need to go. This is just from my wealth walk. Rather than trying to build passive income and passive income and passive income, what if I were to start jumping into the philanthropy thing early so that I avoid the problem Carnegie experienced, accumulation, and then the problem of, wow, what do I do with all of this? Right? Because it's not something he had thought about yet. He's like, I've got these billions of dollars. It's going to be difficult to distribute it. And it's a serious matter. And it became his life's work on the latter half of his life, distributing that money to generosity and charity and philanthropy. Okay, so in my wealth walk, what I'm focused right now is on something called my donor advised fund. A donor advised fund. What is that? Let's whiteboard this out really quick. So a donor, one who gives money, right? You're donating money to a cause. Okay, now this is different than donating money to a church or a charity, right? So traditionally, let's draw this out. Here's me. I've got money and I send this to a charity or a church, right? And then they use it to help, right? And it's from there, it's gone. Some of this stays in here because it covers staff and cost of running and all of those things, right? And then an amount of this goes towards helping. Now, the problem is a lot of charities and churches, very little of it actually goes out the other door. It goes in and then the people pay themselves and they run their organization and that's fine. But what's left over is not as much as I would hope, right? And the thing is as a individual, I can't just give money to people and projects and get tax deductions. It's got to go through a registered charitable organization. It has to. If I want to get tax deductions and I want it to actually like properly go through the financial system. If I see someone in need and I'm like, let me give you money, A, they're going to have to pay taxes on it. So I got to give them a problem along with the money. B, I don't get a deduction. And C, it's not really a charity thing. Like it doesn't actually go through the proper system and through the proper channels. So the proper way to do it is you send it to a charity or you have your own charity. And a lot of wealthy families, what they'll do is they will start their own charity, right? And so those are typically going to look like this, where they've got money and they send that to like a private foundation. You're probably familiar with like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, for example, right? Private foundation, which then can send this to charity or helping or whatever. They can directly fund stuff and do things. Now, the problem with a private foundation is it's very expensive to set one up. Very expensive to set up. It takes a while. There's a lot of administrative ongoing costs that go into running a private foundation. Same thing with starting my own charity, right? And so I've been kind of circling this for some time now. And what I've looked at is, okay, instead of doing a private foundation or my own charity, what if I were to use the donor advised fund? So what is a donor advised fund? A donor advised fund means that I can be a donor and I put it into a fund and I can advise them on where to invest it and where to donate it. So the donor advised fund is a registered charitable organization. And the neat thing with the donor advised fund is when I put the money into the DAF, we'll start calling it a DAF now just for short. When I put money into the DAF, I get my charitable deduction. I can do money, I can do assets, but I get my deduction. Once it's into the DAF, it can go into two different things. One, it can go into grants. So I can actually grant money to charity, or it can go into impact investments or philanthro investments, PI, philanthro investments. They're investing for impact. So in the donor advised funds, I can advise it. I can say, I want to put it towards equity and help. I want to put it towards Origin Clear. I want to put it towards FiOS or Z-Loop or any of these things that we're doing to philanthro invest, right? So it goes in, I get the deduction and it could actually get invested into assets. and it can grow tax-free inside of the donor advised fund. And then I can continue to snowball it and build it up. Or I can say, now I want to disperse it for that project, that charity, that organization, right? Either way, it's like I get to direct where that money goes. So it turns into my own endowment. I can actually start to make change the way that I want to on this planet, right? This is different than me just donating. Donating, it's gone. So I can actually create an infinite donation. I can say, good, I'm going to buy a house and all the income spitting off from this house goes to this charitable cause. What if I were to buy 10 houses or 20 or 30 or 50? You see, I get a lot more excited about that than my passive income number got higher. Because at a certain point, you don't need it. It's like, good, what are you going to do? Like, you have all the stuff you want, you're living the life you want. Where does the excess go? And that's where most people are like, well, I want to build a legacy because they have this idea that there's surplus and they need to send it somewhere. Guys, put it into a donor advised fund. Next, I don't want to interrupt you too long. I just want to give you a free offer for my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. If you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can get the book now. I'm going to let you get back to the video. Invest in companies that are creating change on this planet. Take the return from those investments and donate that to charities that are making a positive impact on the planet. Now you just did a double. You didn't donate once, you donated twice. You put it into the donor advised fund to invest in a company that was, a philanthro investing company that's restoring life essentials. It's promoting human welfare. That's impact number one. That spits off a return. You take the return and you donate that to a charity that is restoring life essentials or promoting human welfare. That's impact number two. Impact number three, your taxes go down, right? Which allows you to save more money and donate more money. So here's kind of what I'm focused on right now is I'm structuring this in my own world so that I can be of more help, right? With the things that matter to me, the charitable endeavors that matter to me, because for me, that's fulfilling. That's fulfilling. Like the idea that I'm going to make a positive impact because I can build wealth, I can make money, I can invest. You guys know this, right? But at a certain point, it's like, what's the real purpose here? And I talk about this a lot in my videos and my content. The purpose needs to be bigger than you. It needs to be bigger than your immediate family. Right? So here's my vision with this is I want to lead by example with this, donating my own money. I can go up to 60% of my AGI each year, adjusted gross income, donating my own money into my charitable fund, my donor advised fund, and putting that towards things that promote human welfare, that restore life essentials. And we're going to be encouraging our clients and members to be doing the same thing. Maybe not 60%. You don't need to be crazy like I am, right? But making that a regular part of what you do, whether you get a charitable deduction on it or not. Right? That's not really the focus. The focus is more the impact you're making on the world around us. So if you want more information on the donor advised fund strategy, okay, because this is something that can lower your taxes. We've talked about generosity and the benefits that has when you're generous. You get more things back in return indirectly, right? And it really puts you in a position of like really making change on the planet, really making change with our life essentials, really making change with human welfare. Right? So if you're interested in that and you're like, man, this is a game I want to play, right? Reach out, comment below. I want to collaborate with you. I want to hear from you. I want to help you accomplish that so you can start making the same kind of impact I am. Because guys, I think to end this off, this is a different form of wealth building. This is not retirement. This is not rich dad, poor dad. This is not passive income to never have to work again. This is literally using wealth for good. Right? We're going to build wealth so we can do good with it. Because here is the thing is we sit on the sidelines, we complain about, oh, these wealthy people are doing bad stuff to the planet and the politicians are doing bad stuff to the planet and things are going to hell in a handbasket and this is wrong and that's wrong and this is broken and that's broken. And it's like, good, do something. Do something. You're on the sideline right now. They're using private foundations. They're using donor advised funds. They're doing all of the stuff I'm talking about right now. And you're on the sidelines watching, swimming in car loan debt and mortgage debt and paycheck to paycheck, complaining about how nobody is making a difference. And you're not able to help because A, you don't know the financial means to do it. Like, how do I build wealth? And B, if you did have the wealth, you wouldn't be helping with it anyways. You're probably going to keep it for just you and your family only. That's got to change. There are more of us than them. There's more resources with us that we can put to work for good than for those people we complain about and the conditions we complain about. So do something about it. That's my call to action. I'll see you next time. Hey, this is Jerry Fetta here. I want to thank you for watching my video, watching my content. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to learn more about the blueprint to financial freedom and how you can achieve passive income that exceeds your savings, your expenses, your taxes, your generosity, and build wealth like the top 1%, I want to encourage you, grab a copy of my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. You can go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, or you can click the link in the description of the video here. The copy is free. You cover your shipping. We'll send the book out to you, and we'll send you an email with a bunch of great bonus material also for free. Get the book, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on my next content.